Yo, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're doing well today. And I wonder if you guys can think about the last time you've heard or seen spaghetti melee. Probably pretty recently. And all I mean by that is when people are freaking out and they're dropping everything and they're missing L cancels and they're not able to play, it looks very silly. But if you're the one who's playing the spaghetti melee, you're very nervous. You feel like you can't breathe, like you can't move, like everything you've trained doesn't matter, right? And that's very tough. And this might not only be in a last stock situation moment, it might be throughout a whole set. And people don't like that. People do not like when they're not able to play the game, when they feel like their practice doesn't matter because of this other stuff. And this happens to more people than you think. So many people have asked me on my stream, can I talk about nerves? And, I've been myself a little nervous to do a video because I want to do the topic justice because I think it's such a complex topic. But I finally decided to make a video on it, in part because, seeing the discussion in the community about it really hasn't been the most helpful. Some people might say, oh, just get angry about it or you'll get used to it. And maybe that works for some people, but I think for a lot it doesn't. And so, what I'd really like to do for people today is to give them a set of tools, some strategies, an overview of what you can kind of expect when you're thinking about this topic, and you can kind of choose what feels good for you, or at least kind of an area you want to go into. And so, that's my hope. I'm hoping I can give everyone that's here looking for this some relief. And what I'm going to do to try and achieve that is I'm going to try and talk about nerves in different levels. I want to try and do things that are, higher level or easier, and then we're going to kind of move down, and then we're going to move pretty quickly down into, more of the emotional stuff a little bit later. But sometimes you don't have to go all that way. Sometimes you can just get by, or you can just solve your problems with some simpler tactics. And so things that can help a lot of people with a lot of issues. And so we're going to probably start there. But yeah, I mean, before I start, I want to say that I myself speak from experience when I've struggled with nerves. I didn't struggle as a rising player, but after I became a top player, it became much more challenging. I found myself less able to focus. I found myself missing tech skill more. I found myself very concerned about what people were thinking, right? And so even if you don't have a nerves issue, if you are watching this video, maybe you will eventually, or maybe you'll know someone who is. And so this can still be useful information. And if nothing else, I think it highlights how our melee journeys can all be different, and you never know when the information could come in handy. That being said, let's actually go in and start getting some solutions. I know that's what you guys are here for. So, there's some of the most basic of basic things I can point out, but it's worth talking about. Eating well, eating less processed stuff. It sounds silly, but I can tell you right now, especially if you see tourney food, it's hard to do, but the more you can try and eat better for yourself, you're gonna feel more comfortable. And that's gonna be important. It can help your sleep. It can help a lot of things. And what do you know? Sleeping regularly and for at least 8 hours is something else I have on the list. Sleeping is going to help with your mood regulation, very well documented. It's going to help you be able to think more clearly so you can maybe grab hold of your mind if you're running wild and say, hey, maybe you want to do something different. And, if you're exercising daily, or at least most of the days in the week, we'll say 5 days a week or 6 days a week, that's going to be helping too. Produces endorphins, boosts your mood, helps circulation. These are all things that are going to help you buffer against the negative effects of nerves and are going to help you be able to rally back. And so that's going to be something, and these things can all work together, by the way. But yeah, that's going to be something that really is going to be useful. Thinking about a lot of this more, I know it sounds basic, but physical stuff, because you might be tempted just to skip this, and maybe you do. But if you do, maybe come back, try some of this stuff out. You never know. Anyway, let's go to some of the deeper stuff that I know that a lot of you guys are here for, some things that I've told people that they thought were pretty interesting. And to do that, I want to kind of talk about what nerves are. Without getting too into the weeds, it's basically your nervous system getting really excited, and that means you produce some adrenaline and other things that make you more alert, make you react more quickly, move more quickly. And this sounds pretty good for competition, doesn't it? Being hyped up should just make you play better. But there's a second part. There's a second component that makes nerves more challenging. And pretty much immediately around when this excitatory bodily response happens, um, you instead sort of see this at the same time as something that encourages you to fight, or enables your fight or flight response. So this is something that's going to end up constricting your blood flow more than allowing it to expand and move more throughout you. And it might direct more blood to your brain, where you're focused more on survival, and it's going to make you focus less on information processing, right? And might make you more tense as a result of that. Maybe you end up breathing less, you tense up, right? It's going to be harder to get air into your lungs, things like that. And this is the response that people really want to change. And this is sort of why it happens is complicated. It can be different for different people, but as we kind of go through, I'm hoping that there will be various understandings that we can have about this. But for the easiest solution, because again, I know we've talked about some solutions already, but for an easier one here, when you feel this excitatory response, like if you have a tournament coming up and it's the next day, it's tomorrow, and you can feel your body starting to have a response, instead of saying, this is me being anxious, say, this is me being excited. But you'd be surprised. I mean, I know this sounds stupid, like, oh, there's no way this could work, but this has been researched. I thought it was ridiculous when I first read about it, but a significant number of people responded well to it. When I suggested it to other people, it can work pretty well for them. Not for everyone, but for a surprising amount of people, they would say this works great. And the reason it works is because it is the same system in your body, like I was alluding to earlier. You're just saying, oh, this thing that's happening is a good thing. I'm excited to play. I want to be able to play the game. I want to be able to compete against others in the tournament. And yeah, again, I have told people in my chat, other people I've known, and it has worked out for some of them. But maybe, when you get too hyped up, right? Or it can just run out of control. And so in order to even approach this reasonably, you got to bring yourself back down a little bit. You got to be excited but focused, right? And so in addition to meditation, something I recommend for this is just a very simple way to breathe. I recommend you do a full inhale, and then you hold it, and then you slowly exhale, And if you hold and make the exhale longer than the inhale, it sends the message to your body to calm down. And this can be a great starting point before trying anything else. And so I'll kind of demonstrate what this is like really quickly. So full inhale, hold, and then a slow exhale. And I just feel a whole lot more calm after that, which is great because I have been nervous about doing this video. But you can kind of tell, even just from listening to what it sounded like, and even probably from listening to me now, that there's just more calm after doing that one breath. Now imagine you did this for a minute or 5 minutes. How different could that be before you go into an important match? And so I know I brought up meditation earlier. I did want to come back to that briefly. I'm probably going to do a separate meditation video or videos eventually. But right now, because I wanted to kind of make this video a one-stop shop for everything you could do with nerves, I'm going to try and throw in a couple ways to do meditation, and you can play around with it. And you can always, again, there are plenty of books. If you strap for cash, you can probably just find free meditations on YouTube or on blogs or wherever. It's not super complicated. The most important thing is to start, but let me give you guys a breakdown on it. In both meditations, you're gonna want to sit still and relaxed. For the first one, you're gonna want to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can experiment with that if you want. And then for that one, you're going to want to make sure that when you breathe in, you're going to want to make sure that you focus in, out, and you say this in your mind when you're inhaling and exhaling. That's going to give your conscious mind something to do so that your attention can be trained a little more easily. For the second one, you're going to occupy your conscious mind instead by mentally scanning different parts of your body for tension and then letting it go. And then once you're done with that, this can take a while because you're going to slowly focus on everything. You can bring your attention to kind of your whole self and kind of keep it there. But for both meditations, the most important thing is that your attention will drift. And some people think, oh, well, this is why I can't meditate. My attention drifts. But that's actually the key to meditation, is that moment. And when you notice your attention drifting and you bring it back to the breath or your body or whatever, that's you training the skill of focus. And that's going to be great to help you understand that that's not failure. You're not failing at meditation by having your focus drift. And you might even notice that the way you label your focus will cause certain emotional responses here too. And so this can be a training in itself, the meditation. And being able to focus better is also going to help you with your feelings. So you can see there's a lot, even in a simple practice, that can actually be going on. Now, I've already talked about emotions a little bit, but we're going to kind of go into, I think now is the deeper level of things. And this was the part of the video that gave me a lot of trouble making for a while. And so I'm going to give you guys some broad ideas. I'm going to give you guys some tools. I'm going to give you guys some questions you can ask yourself, and hopefully you can kind of move this through as best as you can. So again, my goal with this is to ideally allow feelings to move through you, to be felt. Feelings, as I think a good way to understand them, feelings want to move, but we can kind of tense against them, holding them in place. And that's just because, maybe they have been stuck one place for like a long time, or they're just part of something we just don't want to feel and we're not even aware of it anymore. We're just so used to holding. But once the feelings do move, we're going to have more room in ourselves for more positive warmth, excitement, all that good stuff that I've kind of been talking about. That's going to allow your nervous system, when it does fire up, to just fire more honestly. Okay, so here are a few questions that you can ask yourself. And some of these are going to be more serious, but these are questions you can ask yourself if you want to start working on this topic from an emotional standpoint. The first one would be, when have you first felt that nervous or scared feeling in your life that you might feel in a melee match? And maybe if anything began there, was there a formative experience? A different question you can ask yourself is, what happened if you didn't get the best grades? Were you punished for that? And a third question you can ask is if your parents or authority figures in your life or your friends supported you and said you could learn from your mistakes, right? And so a lot of these important bonds and connections you have with people are, these are often places you're going to take these emotional ideas at a deep level. So I would encourage you to kind of take some time to just play with the questions, see what comes up. Don't overdo it. But yeah, these are important, I feel, and there can be a lot of power to them. In the game, what this is going to kind of look like is if you're playing not to lose, right? You're worried about losing, and so anytime you get closer to losing, you kind of freak out, or it's a close situation and you're freaking out, right? Because it's like, oh, I might lose here. There can be a concern about failure, about not wanting to fail, not being seen as a failure by other people. But then there's the other side of the coin, which I don't think people talk about as much, which there's also concern about succeeding. Can you continue handle succeeding? Do you feel you're worthy of succeeding? Things like that. So if you're about to win and then you ease off the gas, things like that are going to be really important. And they can be kind of lumped up in this idea of feeling not good enough. And this is a challenge for so many people. So I encourage you, if you are going to go into any of this, to be very gentle about it. Just again, feel into it, see what comes up. You might find that taking some time to journal these things down or talk to other people to sort out the ideas, get it from a different perspective. Come back to it when maybe you're less emotional in the moment. These things can all be very valuable. And I want to add an important note here while you're going through this, because I went over a lot of important topics kind of quickly. I want to say that if you do get angry feeling any of this stuff coming up, that's perfectly fine and honestly usually normal. But the main thing is you don't want to stay mad. You don't want to hold on to the anger for a long time. It doesn't really solve anything. It doesn't make the nerves go away. But if you are mad for a while, of course, understandable. But eventually you want to be able to let that go, the feelings under the anger go, being able to forgive yourself and other people for that. So all of that within you can be at peace. And then you can be a more integrated person. And this can make you feel so much more light and happy in things, not just melee, but everything. And again, I just want to remind everyone one more time how important it is to be gentle with yourself, as these can be very important questions and topics to bring up. I'm doing my best to try and give an overview, but again, of course, you guys are all going to have your own ways of understanding these challenges, and all I can do is my best is to give you questions and then kind of see where we go, you guys and me from here. And really, if you think about it, if you tie in the emotional aspect, the reframing, the meditation, the physical work all together, these can all complement each other. And so I am going to kind of bring you guys' attention back to the eating, the exercising, the sleeping. This can be really, really important if you are going to be doing this type of work, this emotional work, just to kind of reinforce everything, make it easier, make it not feel as overwhelming, make it feel like you are doing good things for yourself. So I'm going to be re-encouraging you guys on that once again. But yeah, in order not to keep this too long or to make it too convoluted, I am going to go ahead and kind of stop giving out new information here. But I really do want this video to make a difference for people. And it's such a complex topic. People are such complex, unique beings that just throwing these things out, I think, can cause a lot of reactions. And I kind of want to see where a lot of this can go. And so I'm very curious. How'd you guys like this stuff? Do you feel it's useful? Do you feel that this can move the needle for you guys towards nervous, towards excited, or towards fun, whatever you might think the opposite of that is? I was always worried about making this perfect for everyone, and I've kind of accepted I can't do that. I can just do the best I can, and hopefully that gets through to enough of you guys. So let me know. How'd I do? Does this seem interesting to you guys? Does this seem rooted in my experience? Does this seem like it could help you or someone you know? Please let me know. And thank you for watching. I really do hope you enjoy this video, and good luck out there, gamers.